The day Daniel Carter disowned his daughter, he didn't whisper it. He announced it, loud, cold, in front of everyone. The room was silent. Family members, friends, neighbors, all watching. His daughter, Lily, stood in the center, hands shaking, eyes red, but standing straight. She was only 19 and brave enough to say one sentence: "Dad, I want to choose my own life." That was all. Not drugs, not crime, not scandal, just freedom. Daniel's jaw tightened. In his world, daughters obeyed. They didn't argue. They didn't dream differently. They followed the plan. His plan. Law school, marriage, reputation, respect. "You are not my daughter anymore." The words came out sharp, like a slap. No hesitation, no regret. Gasps filled the room, but Daniel didn't look at anyone. He looked only at her. "If you walk out that door, don't ever come back." Lily's lips trembled. She waited, just 1 second. Maybe he would soften. Maybe he would blink. Maybe he would say, "Wait." He didn't. He turned his back, and she walked out, alone, with one suitcase and a broken heart. That night, Daniel told everyone. She made her choice. He convinced himself he was right. A father must be strict. A father must protect honor. A father must control chaos. That's what he believed. Weeks passed, then months. No calls, no messages. He deleted her number, removed her photos, packed her things into boxes, like she never existed, like 19 years were nothing. But late at night, he would stand outside her empty room, listening to silence again. He told himself it didn't matter. She'll come back, he thought. She'll apologize. She'll fail. She didn't. 5 years passed. Daniel grew older, colder, more respected in public, more empty in private. At family events, people avoided the topic, but sometimes someone would whisper, "Have you heard about Lily?" He always answered the same way, "I don't have a daughter." Until one evening, rain outside, television on. He wasn't really watching, just background noise. Then, a familiar name. And tonight's special guest, rising entrepreneur and social activist, Lily Carter. The remote fell from his hand. His heart stopped. On the screen was his daughter, confident, strong, smiling. The audience applauding. The host saying, "Your story of leaving home at 19 with nothing is inspiring millions." Daniel couldn't breathe. Leaving home, with nothing. His words echoed in his mind. "If you walk out that door, don't ever come back." The camera zoomed in on Lily's face. Older now, wiser, but the same eyes. His eyes. Then the host asked, "Do your parents support you today?" The studio went quiet. Lily paused, just for a second, a small second, but Daniel saw it, the pain, still there. She smiled politely and said, "I built my life without them." The words hit harder than any slap. Without them. Not without him, without them. She protected him, even now. But then she added something unexpected, something that made Daniel's blood run cold. "I hope one day my father sees this." The camera zoomed closer. Her eyes were wet. "But I don't think he would recognize me anymore." Daniel stood frozen, heart pounding, hands trembling. For the first time in 5 years, he whispered her name, "Lily." And that was the moment he realized something terrifying. He didn't know where she lived. He didn't know her number. He didn't know her friends. He didn't know her world. He had erased her, and now she was everywhere. The television screen went dark, but Daniel didn't move. Lily's words kept replaying. I built my life without them. Without them. He told himself it didn't hurt. He told himself she was being dramatic. He told himself she chose this. But something inside him cracked. He stood up slowly, walked to the mirror in the hallway, looked at his reflection. Gray hair, hard eyes. A man respected by many, feared by some, but loved? He wasn't sure anymore. His phone rang. His sister. I saw her on TV, she said softly. He didn't answer. She's incredible, Daniel. Silence. She never said anything bad about you. That hurt more than accusation. That night, he couldn't sleep. He walked past Lily's old room, the door still closed. 5 years, and he never once opened it. Not once. As if dust could erase memory. Slowly, he turned the handle. The air inside felt frozen in time. The walls still light blue, her bookshelf untouched, a small trophy on the desk. First place debate competition. He remembered that day. He didn't attend. He had a meeting. More important, he said back then. He sat on her bed, and for the first time, he allowed himself to ask the forbidden question. What if I was wrong? The next morning, pride fought back. You owe her nothing, his mind whispered. She disrespected you. She embarrassed you. She left. But his heart answered differently. I pushed her out. He searched her name online. Articles, interviews, videos, millions of views. Headlines, from rejection to revolution. The girl who built her own empire. She left home with $200. $200. That's all she had. He remembered that night. She stood in the doorway. He thought she would beg. She didn't. He thought she would fail. She didn't. Then he found something else. A video clip. A shorter one. Behind the scenes. The camera wasn't supposed to be recording. Lily thought it was off. Her smile dropped. Her shoulders relaxed. And she whispered to someone off-screen. I just wish he'd say he was proud of me. Daniel's chest tightened. She didn't want money. She didn't want revenge. She didn't want apologies on TV. She wanted 4 words. I am proud of you. His hands began to shake. For 5 years, he defended his decision, to friends, to family, to himself. But no one had asked him the real question. Were you a father or a judge? He picked up his phone, stopped, put it down, picked it up again, stopped. What would he even say? Hello? Sorry. Remember me? The man who erased you? Pride screamed, don't do it. Regret whispered, it's already almost too late. He typed a message, deleted it, typed again, deleted again. Then finally, just one sentence. I saw you tonight. He stared at the screen, heartbeat loud, finger hovering, and pressed send. The message showed delivered, no reply. Minutes passed, 10, 20, an hour, nothing. He sat there in silence, the same silence he used to weaponize. Now it was turned against him. At midnight, his phone vibrated. One notification. From Lily. He hesitated, then opened it. 3 words that made his world spin. Why now, Dad? Why now, Dad? Daniel stared at the screen. 3 simple words. But behind them, 5 years of silence. 5 years of birthdays missed. 5 years of stubborn pride. He typed, deleted, typed again. Finally, I was wrong. He sent it. No long speech, no excuses, no explanations, just truth. The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then her reply came. You said I wasn't your daughter. He closed his eyes. He remembered the room, the faces, the coldness in his voice. Yes, he wrote. I said something unforgivable. Minutes passed. Then, that night I waited outside for an hour. His heart dropped. I thought you would come after me. He felt the air leave his lungs. She continued. I didn't want to leave. That sentence shattered him. He always believed she chose freedom over family, but she chose dignity over humiliation. "I was scared," she wrote. "I had $200. I slept in a bus station the first night." Daniel's hand covered his mouth. He had slept comfortably that night, convinced he was teaching her a lesson, while she was learning survival. He typed slowly, "I thought I was protecting you." The reply came fast. From what? He had no answer. From independence? From mistakes? From becoming stronger than him? She sent another message. "Do you know what hurt the most?" He stared. "No, not that you disowned me." A pause. "That you didn't look back." Daniel felt the memory replay in slow motion. He had turned his back deliberately to stay strong, to prove authority, to win. He didn't realize he was losing everything. "I needed a father," she wrote, "not a courtroom." That line hit deeper than anything before. He had always treated life like a case to win, arguments to dominate, rules to enforce. But fatherhood isn't about winning, it's about staying. "I watched every interview," he admitted. "I am proud of you." 3 dots appeared, stopped. Then, "Why didn't you say that 5 years ago?" "Because I was weak, because I was afraid, because my ego was louder than my love." But he didn't write all that. He wrote something simpler. "I didn't know how." Another pause, longer this time. Then a message he didn't expect. "I don't hate you." His chest tightened. "I just don't trust you." That was worse. Hate burns, distrust freezes, and ice takes longer to melt. "I'm speaking in the city next week," she wrote. "There's a public event. No invitation, no warmth, just information. Then, if you come as a listener, not as a father, not as a judge, as a stranger." The screen went silent. Daniel sat there, phone in his hand, heart racing. He had one chance, not to demand forgiveness, but to earn presence. For the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about reputation or control or pride. He was thinking about a stage, a microphone, and a daughter who once waited outside a door, hoping he would follow. The auditorium was full. Bright lights, cameras, applause echoing against high ceilings. Daniel stood outside for a long time, ticket in his hand, heart pounding like it hadn't in decades. He almost turned around. Almost, but regret pushed harder than pride. He walked in, quietly, took a seat in the back row, not the front. He hadn't earned the front. Then she walked onto the stage, confident, elegant, strong. The crowd stood up clapping. Daniel didn't. He couldn't. He was frozen, because for the first time, he saw her not as his daughter, but as a woman, built by struggle, tempered by rejection, sharpened by pain, some of it caused by him. She began speaking about courage, about independence, about building something from nothing. But then her voice softened. "And sometimes," she said, "the people who hurt you the most are the ones who taught you strength." The audience went silent. Daniel's throat tightened. Was that about him or about survival? She continued, "I don't believe in perfect parents." A few people laughed softly. "I believe in imperfect humans who are still learning." Daniel felt something shift inside him. Not forgiveness, not yet, but possibility. Then she said something unexpected. "My father once told me to never come back." The room froze. No one moved. Daniel's heart pounded violently. "But that sentence," she continued, "forced me to discover who I was without approval." A pause. "I hated him for a long time." The honesty stung. But hate is heavy, and I wanted to be light. Daniel's hands trembled. He wanted to disappear, but he stayed. For the first time in his life, he didn't run from discomfort. She scanned the audience, slowly, and then her eyes stopped. On him, back row, still, watching, listening, not hiding, not standing, just present. The air between them felt electric. 5 years of silence in one glance. He didn't smile, he didn't wave, he didn't nod. He just looked at her with something he never allowed himself to show before: vulnerability. Her voice almost cracked, just slightly. "But I hope," she said carefully, "that one day he understands." A long pause. "And I hope he knows I never stopped wanting him to try." The crowd didn't understand the weight of that sentence, but Daniel did. Try. Not control, not dominate. Try. After the speech, people surrounded her. Photos, autographs, congratulations. Daniel stayed seated. He could leave now, tell himself he showed up, tell himself that was enough. But he knew better. Showing up is the beginning, not the repair. Eventually, the crowd thinned. She saw him walking toward her, slowly, not with authority, not with pride, just a man who made a mistake. They stood face to face, no cameras close enough to hear, no microphones, just breath and years. "I'm here," he said quietly, not an excuse, not a defense, just presence. She looked at him, eyes searching, measuring, testing. "You came as a listener," she said. He nodded. "I'm still learning," he replied. That was new. He had never admitted that before. Silence stretched between them. But this silence was different. It wasn't punishment. It wasn't ego. It was fragile, honest. "I can't erase 5 years," she said. "I know," he answered. "I'm not asking you to." That mattered, because healing isn't demanding a reset, it's accepting damage and choosing to rebuild anyway. She studied him one more time, then said something small but powerful. "You can walk me to my car." Not Dad, not yet, but not Mr. Carter either. Progress doesn't scream, it whispers. And as they walked side by side, not touching, not fully healed, but no longer strangers, Daniel understood something clearly. Redemption isn't a moment, it's a decision made every day. The night air was cooler outside. City lights glowing, noise fading behind them. They walked in silence toward her car, not uncomfortable, not warm, just careful, like two people stepping onto thin ice. Daniel wanted to say everything, apologize properly, explain his fear, confess his pride, but he understood something now. Long speeches don't rebuild trust. Consistency does. They stopped beside her car. She turned to face him. "You look older," she said softly, a small, almost playful observation. He exhaled. "So do you," he answered. That made her smile, just slightly, and that small smile felt bigger than applause. "I meant what I said," he continued. "I'm proud of you." No drama, no performance, just steady eye contact. Truth. She held his gaze, searching for ego, for control, for hidden conditions. She didn't find them. "Thank you," she said. Simple, but sincere. That was the first brick laid. He hesitated, then asked carefully, "Can I try again?" Not, "Can you forgive me?" Not, "Can we go back?" Try again. Different. Better. She didn't answer immediately, because trust isn't cheap, because pain doesn't disappear in one speech, because 5 years matter. "I can't promise it'll be easy," she said. "I don't expect easy. I can't promise I won't remember what happened. You shouldn't forget. I can't promise I'll call you Dad tomorrow." That one hurt, but he nodded. "I understand." She studied him one last time, and then she said the word that mattered most. Not loudly, not emotionally, but intentionally. "Okay." That was it. Not forgiveness, permission. Permission to rebuild. Weeks turned into months. They met for coffee, awkward at first. Careful conversations, boundaries respected. No controlling questions, no lectures, just listening. Daniel learned something new every time. He learned she liked strong coffee. He learned she hated being interrupted. He learned she still kept the old debate trophy. He learned she was stronger than he ever allowed her to be. One afternoon, while leaving a cafe, she stopped him. "Wait." He turned. She looked at him for a long second, then said quietly, "Drive safe, Dad." The word landed softly, but it echoed loudly inside him. Dad. Not forced, not polite, chosen. He didn't cry in front of her. He didn't overreact. He just nodded and said, "Always." That night, alone in his house, he opened the door to her old room again, but this time it didn't feel like a grave. It felt like a beginning. Because redemption isn't loud. It's not dramatic speeches. It's not public apologies. It's showing up again and again and again until someone believes you're staying. And maybe that's the lesson. Sometimes we lose people not because we don't love them, but because our pride is louder than our love. And sometimes the strongest word in the world is not sorry. It's okay.